And here's to a completely random broadcast brought to you by me. I'm bored. Just want to see who all's going to show up. And I'll probably repeat that because nobody's here yet. It's raining outside. And my dog is sick. And I didn't want to leave the house. I was going to meet with a fairly young pastor that I met recently. But dog's been sick. Keep him in your prayers. So I've noticed hi Kay, how you doing? I have no idea what I'm talking about, but a couple things on my mind. I noticed after fighting through the whole YouTube jargon of the 11, the 9 copyright strikes or claims or whatever that banned my very last spells they placed on this video, they still haven't released it. I can go there, I can see it. Oh wait, hang on, I forgot to pull up this stream. Hi everybody, you all just kind of jumped in on me. How's it going? I can go there and post it, but it doesn't show up on my page, which I don't really care because in the end of it, I was like, hey, let's get back to Christ. So kind of a distraction, right? But howdy, hi Paul, MT Kelly, hello, Elizabeth Borson, Shanti, Shawnette, Priest, my bad girl, Miss GR. Okay. Anyway, I have no topic. I'm bored. It's raining. My dog doesn't feel well, so I figured I'd say hello. It's a lot of folks that try and catch streams, but everything's been busier and busier, and I haven't been able to keep up with all my friends. I got to see quite a few of them in Tennessee, and had I figured out a way to do it, I'd show you some pictures of some lovely people, but I can't because I'm on here. I don't know. I might bore you to death. But yeah, Chop. I don't know. It's weird. I don't want to just go blaming it on demons. But Leo, the Chihuahua, got sick. That's the link to the video. Anyway, Leo got sick last week, and he was sick. I just said that. And howdy, Ashley. And I was worried about him and trying to figure out ways to help him feel better, and he got over it. And there was no cause, no change in diet. I'm a pretty boring person, so I've been eating like the same thing for a good year, because I don't have anybody to cook for. It's just it's easier. So I know it wasn't the table scraps or anything like that. And but he got over it, and then Chop got sick Sunday, and immediately my knee jerk reaction is like someone casting a I don't know, maybe, but I don't know. I was thinking today. This is gonna be a long-winded point. So we use technology for things to glorify Christ and all that, to connect with one another. But if you go on Facebook now and spend 3 minutes on there, the thing that was meant to connect everybody has everyone arguing or talking about horrible things. Death. Do you take the jab? Who you voted for? Why'd you vote for him? What's wrong with you? It very quickly turns into it's a tool meant for destruction. And I was just thinking about in my quest for truth, I've been going over the missing Can-Am. That would be David Paulides, the man that wrote the missing 411. It's Can-Am Missing Project, I believe, is his channel, where he just talks about it, and there's interesting stuff on there. Why does it pique my interest? Because there's no way in a remote area with no roads and no ATVs or anything, while people are searching, does like a 3-year-old go up a mountain by 3 or 4 miles, and then sometimes they find them unharmed, and sometimes they find people deceased, but they can't figure out the cause of death. And in all the stories that I've told of me opening a doorway and people interacting with something, I couldn't quite tell what it was, but I could feel the presence of something really, really bad. And so there's a connection there, because he goes over he goes over these scenarios where he doesn't quite know what happened at a certain time, but a lot of people talk about dread, himself included, and things he doesn't know what it is. One example, he was at a very quiet swamp. I don't know if it was in the South or not. Him and his wife, and he said he clapped, or two claps, just to hear it echo, and they heard what sounded like, I don't want to put words in his mouth, something very large moving on flat ground, like a herd of buffalo, like a big tank or something like that moving, but it was coming from the swamp, and then it just stopped. And he said it weirded him out. You know, how do you I, you can't tell what that is. That sound, according to the verbs or verbiage he was using, you can't make that sound in the swamp that he heard. Um, yes, Shawnette, agreed. I pray for them every day before I leave, I'm walking to the gas station. I pray for the Father's protection. Which hang on, let me make this point. Because my knee jerk reaction is, I know that there are individuals that I've seen. I will hold to that to the day that I die. Weird instances, the one where I saw someone else's face on a much older person, and I know it was them because they were enraged. They didn't say anything, but they were enraged. That's one of the very first stories I told, and I think it's dismissed because pharmakia was in use, so it makes me less credible. Makes people's knee-jerk reaction is to go, well, you took something, so you saw something, and it's not the way that it works. Get in the weeds here. I'm watching this guy David Paulides talk about these missing people, and he mentions one time about someone says, why is it all in the woods? He said maybe things happen in the city we just don't know about, and I realized the more that I've looked at his stuff, the way that some park rangers or some coroners just there are good people out there. I'm not saying everyone, but when I've had on several different occasions experiences with police officers speaking to something that I couldn't see, that dread there, and they were happy that it was there. I don't think it's throughout the entire department, but I think I've seen into something that that whatever they're a part of, they're able to hide more easily because we accept reality that we grow up in. I mean, I still want to be able to call the police whenever something goes wrong. I'm not saying anything about cops, but there was something darker there. It seems random to me. I mean, I don't know any markers other than what the Bible says, that you'll know them by their works. And when I see someone happy about something that's, from mostly what I could tell, I mean, I don't want to call it evil, because that's a really strong word for something that I don't understand what it was. But they were, I mean, that feeling of dread and hopelessness and whatever this thing is, and these people are getting happier as it begins to manifest, that will stick with you for the rest of your life. And though I've told those stories, and my intention was for, in case other people were going through it. There at the time, I'm looking at videos, watching people kill themselves because they think that the government is beaming things at them and voice to skull. Maybe so, but I was hoping to plant the seed. Like, I've seen some weird things, and Jesus was the answer, and it totally flipped the agenda of whatever these flesh human beings were trying to do on its head, to the point of confusion, where even the cops didn't even follow protocol when I should have just went to jail. Nothing, just like, I don't know, what do you want to do? I don't. It's very weird. But so this guy David Paulides, right? I'm watching his stuff, and things are resonating with me as to what he's talking about. The roadblock of rangers not sharing information, not covering evidence or anything up, but very unwilling to give information in the hopes to find these people, realizing that there's something wrong with it. That resonated with me because I've seen people in multiple different professions, some people I was related to, communicating with something that I didn't know. And so that's what I think about when I see that. And this is going to sound like I'm talking in circles, but as I'm going over all this, and I'm I don't want to say stressed, but hearing about these people that have gone missing, some found, thank God, others not, or some found deceased, and I'm realizing that it's become the very next distraction, in the hopes once again of trying to help the world, or even I even thought about making a video for him, one a little more put together than this, but I don't know that it would do any good. That one video that I talk about, seeing an ex's face on a different person. She looked 40, 50 years older, heavier. It wasn't. It was her face. I know it was her. It was her voice. It was her eye color. And then she was at the hospital before we got there, and that's where we went straight to. And I tell stories like that, and I know that I've had that experience. I didn't imagine it when I got home and I spoke to the family member about it. They seemed agitated. I don't know if it was that I remembered. Um, I don't know. It's just speculation. But when I've had that experience once, and then the other ones where there was usually just something manifesting, I realize, again, I will probably repeat this over and over. I opened myself up to something by but struggling with addiction and all that. This is years ago, but knowing that that's possible, because it's not something that happens. It's not addiction doesn't happen overnight. It can happen quick, sure, but because of the way that I was raised, excuse me, not the way that I was raised, because of the environment that I grew up in outside of parental control, and the choices that I made, I was very familiar with what some of these things should do and what they shouldn't. And that's just not possible. And so something like that, to me, on the negative side, is no different than seeing the plagues in Egypt. You would talk about it for the rest of your life, like seeing the walls of water. You would talk about that the rest of your life. And I'm not glorifying it. It was something bad, and I don't even think that the person, the way that I saw them, I don't think it was under their control. They seemed really, really upset. I'm sorry, I'm ignoring all y'all. I'm trying to finish this thought. But I told that story in hopes that if it was more common, or people were going through it, and all these other stories of this wicked stuff, and then done all this research, and still, when trying to have a conversation about things, about people's fears, or other things, none of those stories have helped at all. And in all my research and all this technology, and we had the world at our fingertips, a lot of our search for truth leads a lot of people into despair and terror, and what's going on politically, and the jab, that's just worldly stuff. But then other things, and realizing that there are people interacting with demons, and they're writing songs to them, and there's a pretty satanic cabal in Hollywood and amongst the world. It just leads to despair. It does, and I'm guilty of it. I'm guilty. These screens, well, it's computer screens, kind of suck us in to learning the next new thing, and even I'm not really on like social media, but chats take up a decent amount of time in my day. Luckily, it's with it's with smaller groups of people. Ask for prayer, talk about things we're struggling with. That's more supportive than your Facebook, right? But it does take a lot of time away from that growth with the Father. I've read my Bible less this year and last year after I moved here than I have since I was saved because of YouTube and other things. And I don't know, I'm just noticing that. And so whenever a new problem arises, like some illness or something, and I haven't been walking in the spirit the way that I was in the beginning, um, we're all more prone to being sucked into that, you know. And I don't know, just something I've been thinking about. Do I want to stop people from disappearing in the woods and in the cities? Yes. Do I want to expose the works of darkness so that people understand that there are human beings like you and I interacting with something, and it's not ritualistic? Maybe the pharmakia sort of ritual, I get that, but I've seen it far more times where it's like there's two different worlds, and they probably see us as the blind because we're not exposed to that world. That's my take on it. I can't prove it. It's just something that once you see, you can't unsee it, and then the identity markers of it just keep happening. And as much as you try and disprove it to yourself, and through prayer and all that, and God's just like, yeah, this is the world that you live in. But saying all those, and it people just don't. I don't know what. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let me catch up with all of you guys. Oh yeah, I forgot to post that link. It's an old one. Sorry. I got to talking and yeah. One moment, please. All right, I can't find it. I don't want to bore you. Um. So, oh man, y'all have been chatting it up. Dead air, huh? I have been doing some music. I'll just tell you a little bit about it. I might even I when I went to see my friend John Photo Helix who bought me this hat when he baptized me. He passed away uh, on the 28th, and he asked me to be a pallbearer, and I went up there in support of his family. Please keep his mom, wife, and daughter in your prayers. I know they're hurting, and they could use it. And I forgot why I brought him up because I was thinking about I got to hang out with some wonderful people, many whom I've only got to know through YouTube, and some that I met because we got baptized together. But so it was really good to see some friends and to finally hug some friends that I've never got to physically meet. And I was speaking with a very positive, well, Rachel Rainstra. For some of you may know her. Some I know I have a mixed bag of folks, but a very she's a positive, fun person to be around. And and I think we could all really use somebody like that. It's just happy. And she was because we were talking about different things while we were there in this conversation about trying to do something, right? It's like the despair sets in that I was talking about earlier when you're attempting to achieve a goal. And I don't think that that's something, at least on the level that a lot of us deal with it. I don't think it's something that those in the world have to deal with as much because they're not focused on what what's going on in the world as much. You were talking about a visible camera. Yeah, I did. John Gonzalez. I heard of that. Yes. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. I can't read the chat, talk at the same time. My brain doesn't work that way. And I wanted to do some music. I've had some fears. I'm worried about production. I have about 50 different concepts biblically related. I don't want to be like some rapper, but I don't play an instrument, and I used to write poetry all the time. But every one of these concepts, like here's an example. There's one where, it always plays like a music video in my head. I started listening to instrumentals when I wasn't listening to worship music while I was walking the dogs for like a week, and then words just started appearing to the melody. And so there's one where in the music videos, these two guys in the desert, and they're in today's modern clothes. It's kind of the same theme as that story that I wanted to write that never got to. And one guy runs up to the other one. He's like, "Dude, you see the size of his grapes?" And this little kid comes up and he's like, "Excuse me, Mr. Josh, Mr. Caleb. My mom says the people are they're all arguing, but they all just look scared to me." So anyway, the song starts. And it's actually Caleb talking to him about um, how they've lost their faith, and he's naming these different things, like, being led by a fire at night and the cloud by day, and he's just reminding them of all these things while this guy Joshua's in the back, singing "Where Your Faith At." And I downloaded this app called BandLab. I just discovered it. Take that back. A year or so ago, it came out, and this is how triggered we are. Here's a good example of what I was talking about. There's a guy named Eumonic. I don't know what his faith beliefs are. He's a musician. He makes good sounding music, but because he had a pyramid as a symbol, it's a silhouette of a pyramid, so it would be like the shadow, like it looks like that basically. And when I saw that pop up on my YouTube, as bad as I just wanted to mess with music back then in 2018, when I was just living at my family's house with PTSD all the time in the world, that pyramid triggered me to not look at it. And that's a good example of how easily manipulated our thought processes are, because I don't even know what the symbol means or why it has it. But the fact that it resonated with me as some sort of pyramid, I immediately thought, oh, that's of the world. Don't even look at it. And again, I don't know the man's beliefs, but that's like judging. Even if I'm not like saying he's going to hell, that's judging. You see what I'm saying? It's just like judging the whole situation. That puts a negative impact on you, and you get nothing done. And I think that that's something that the world doesn't struggle with in that sense. They struggle with it anyway. And so I downloaded this app 2-3 days ago. No, like a week ago, and I catch on rapidly. I was like, wow, this is awesome. And I'm working on one that it starts off with Jesus in Gethsemane in the first person. It's sort of the same concept, mentioning different parts of what he might have been praying about. It's an emotional song, but when I went to record it, I sound like some guy in a trailer park. I don't know. I'm not satisfied with my voice for the serious level of the emotional impact and respect that I want to apply to it, so that it's not about people looking at it and going, oh, that doesn't sound good. It's I'm artistically writing a poem of what Christ might have been struggling with in the garden as he's talking to God, and I don't want it to sound like trash. But I'm trying. I don't know. I just want to give people, it's got to be better than Cardi B, right? Um, and I'm sorry I've ignored all of you. Share, please. Music is my second favorite subject. Disciple of the Messiah 1. I will do my best. I have it written. There's a song called Lost. I don't own any of this. See, music, there's something with money. Like money isn't worth anything, right? Not it wasn't it's not worth anything. It's a concept based on debt that we go to work for and we trade for goods. So there is some worth to it, but it's not really worth anything. Like, um, it can be worth your soul though. That's pretty scary. And and there's something about giving it away. Sure, people can donate and all that. That's later on. I'm not asking for anything. But I don't own any of the music because I can't make beats. So I they have the thing called free for profit. Basically, you just can't monetize. Hey, we've been here for a while. Howdy, plane. Um, but you have to give it away. And there's a song called Lost by Majestic. It's a pretty, you can't pick the lyrics that are in there, but the guy's singing and then the rest of it. I know I'm giving all this away. But oh man, I've only written the first verse, and because I'm still embarrassed, I can I'll just tell you the lyrics, and you'll have to apply the emotion. In my head, it sounded like Eminem, and when I recorded it, it did not. Not that I want to sound like it's that emotional, that scream, that hollering, that I'm in pain or whatever. But if you look it up later, hang on, so it starts. I have most of the yeah, I know, but I'm not gonna do that right now. I'm not. I'll tell you what the lyrics are though. So song starts off with the hook, and then he says, "Father, I'm scared, but I know you're here with me. Uh, I come to you humbly on a rock at Gethsemane. Told my partners to watch and a prayer they should keep, but every time I turn back, I find them falling asleep. I see a debt and it's one I don't owe, but every time I'm rejected, I feel like they're adding some more. See, I'm not even rapping it. I'm losing it. I feel like they're adding some more. Oh man, I do have it written. Man, tripping. I just ruined the emotion of it because I had to stop. Where'd it go? I see a dead and it's one I don't know, but every time I'm rejected, I feel like they're adding some more. What? Oh man. Oh, here it is. Like there. Oh, the hour has come. A promise I must keep. The spirit is willing, but my flesh is weak. And then I can't. This isn't gonna make sense to the temp because it speeds up. With greed tucked on his hip, he greets with puckered lips 30 pieces of silver for a treacherous kiss. And I'm working on the rest of it. But if you can apply that to the first half of it, if you'd like to listen to that song, I think it'll be powerful, but I gotta get my microphone and stuff right. Um and I've got a few other ones, but I was embarrassed just reading it to people. I don't know why. Not embarrassed. Not embarrassed. Anyway, but I do think a lot of them. So there's one that I wanted to do about David and Goliath. I thought would be cool, but the song has words in it as well, and it's something about I am the champion. It's a really tight beat, and so I was thinking I could see that, but the more I started thinking about the concept of it, because it's a lady singing. She's like, "Ooh, I was I was born for greatness. Ooh, a legend in the making." I forget but it keeps saying, I am the champion," and and I was thinking that would be cooler to write it about an ambassador talking about the great I am. Like he's like, I am the champion. So it's kind of a play on words, but I don't know. I'm writing them down. I'm working on it. If you do anything with music, BandLab is really cool and it's free, and you can upload stuff and edit your voice and all that. But I'm still learning. I'm still learning. Um, Yeah. So while I'm reined in, I guess I'll keep doing the lyrics and watching my puppy. But I guess I just wanted to say I lost 9 subscribers when I started reading my poems. Not subs, people watching. Um, but what I wanted to caution was because was that I see so many people in peril, and I was thinking about all of the things that I struggle with, and I know that most of my fears are of the spiritual realm, and of that which ties wickedly with flesh that I've seen so prominent in today's society. But I and there's something with that, right? No fear and perfect love. Like there's something there that I'm missing. Not God provided everything. Maybe it's just the devil whispering in my ear. Something's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen. Uh, and that's what I that's how I visualize those that were like, look at the Giants, look at how big they are. We're just grasshoppers to them. Like, um, I see that it's not. It starts with that whisper of the enemy making you think it's your own thought. I have a song about that one too. But and so like that's something that I have to deal with prayerfully with the Father. It does say you'll be judged for every thought as well, huh? But I have so many friends of mine that are in a state of peril because they're watchmen. I mean, they're looking at the end time stuff, and they're looking at things that are going on in the world, and it does create more fear. But the news is kind of broadcasting it to create fear or to create division. They have honed in on separating people, and it's getting faster and faster at an alarming rate. It's just amazing. Like you can look at every subject that they report on, unless it's like tragedy or here's a video of a kitten. But they the content in which they stick with when they really have a story and they want to stretch it out is stuff that divides. Um, or they'll pitch it in a way that it should cause division. It wasn't just about George Floyd. It's other there are other micro division tactics in there. And I'm just using him as an example. I'm not anyway. The way that the video is played, you could either take a stance saying that, well, his knee wasn't on his neck, it was on his back, and then it's so you're a racist, and then it just boom, 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 boom. Um, and I'm not saying either way, or whether it was a psyop or not. Then that see even in the conspiracy community, so it's thrown out there to create division because if you don't even think that it's real, then all of a sudden you're But I think how much someone maybe that's a bad example that was a horrible thing for anyone to go through. But I think about how much that would mess with someone's head while they're going through troubling times or their son is about to go off to college somewhere and the fear that puts in that mother's that mother's thought processes about her baby going to what if he was moving to where was it? It wasn't Minneapolis. I don't Minnesota. I don't remember. But it's 1.6. We're called to cast down all imaginatory thought, and that to take all thoughts captive is into the Lord. And we see that not all our thoughts are actually ours. I agree. I agree. I have yeah. There's one song I'm working on. What's up, Steve? Monkey, my boy. Um, there's one song that I'm working on, Kelly. I think that was Kelly. Yes, it was Kelly. That it sounds ominous. I don't know if it's ominous. Anyway, the first verse, it's a guy and he doesn't know what's going on. They all start off waking up to in an area, and he's like, what is all this, you know? And he's like, what's a mercy seat? And then the verse starts, and he's like, basically explaining, I didn't think that any of this was real. I mean, you can't really blame me. I was just living my life, just doing what everything, what everybody said was okay. And at the very end of it, before the hook starts, it's it's still the same voice, but you can hear that it's like an angrier, deeper version of it, and it's the devil, the accuser, coming. Um, in the I know he's not in the throne room. I get that, but this is a judgment, outside of the anyway, and he's stating that you couldn't even tell that those thoughts was just my voice in your disguise or something like that. But the song is about judgment. I'm trying to remember it. See, I keep forgetting. I forget the rhyme, but it's I don't ever want to hear you say, "Depart from me." And no, wait, I don't ever want to hear you say, "I never knew you." Now depart from me. Um, oh yeah, something. This just can't be. I'm working on. I'm working on. Second guy goes in, and it's a pastor who just had a heart attack, and and he's like, he's trying to waltz in, and so he starts pointing out everything that he did, showing God, what about this? Like, turn on the TV. Didn't you see me doing this? Um, what are you talking about? I did it in vain. Didn't I heal the sick and cast out devils in your name? And I don't know. I I thought that was it's pretty neat. Anyway, the third guy gets in, but judgment or judgment. I don't I don't know. What do you mean plain flat? I don't know what. Anyway, um, well, thank you, Eddie. I'm gonna end it soon. I was just bored. I have a lot of concepts over these things, and they're so passionate in my head, and they sound so great. I have a very vivid imagination. I can literally, I mean, I think that everyone does. But I think one of the gifts that I have from God that kind of stays locked away in here, maybe it's one of those things that He sees, is that I hone in on the vivid imagination. If I wanted to imagine a Christian song and it sounds like Lil Wayne in my head, all of his mannerisms, all of the way that he would produce a song, the way that he would sound if he was a Christian, with that the same attitude, and it's all there. It's so clear, like the minute different details that make someone a different artist. Um, I can do that up here, but the trouble is when I write some of these things and go to record them, it's missing some of that emotion. So I don't know. I have to work on that. But all right, bye, Aaron. So yeah, I don't know. I'm working on the recording stuff. I used to. It's weird. I did this when I was younger, but it was all worldly. And unfortunately, I have some music on the internet that I cannot take off because I don't have a password to one of these very old social media sites. Um, Aliens and Spiders, just saying, it was like 3 hours long. It was like a 3 hour long movie, so detailed. Someone just told me something about spiders are smarter than. Oh man, I'm forgetting the quote. I'm forgetting the quote, but it would have applied. but yeah, I'm working on them, and I plan on giving them away because I don't own the music. I own one song, one beat that I made that is it's like 6 or 7 minutes, but I made this thing just playing around with a beat maker and just enjoying the music. And then months later, where I realized I put the hook in and all the different sounds, the song would sound completely random if you heard it on its own. Like it has no structure except where the choruses are. And because it's so long, I was like, that will allow me to go through the whole book, well, the cliff notes of Revelation. There's a boom drum beat real quick when the red horse rides, and it's basically again in music, in like a music video form in my head. Guy wakes up in a jail cell and he's talking to his people, and he's writing stuff down and with the cell phone that he smuggled in, or whatever. But it's all in modern times, but it's the same story. He's like, dude, I had this dream and or this vision, and he falls down, in front of and at times throughout the song and everything, and he sees the beast at the end about to devour him and the child because he's seeing it first person. He's like, this huge beast is in front of us, and I'm right next to this little baby, and the beast says something about, all right, now you're mine, and then the sky was ripped back, and I realized we were being watched the whole time. It's pretty cool. I know I'm giving away all my endings, but I'm terrified to produce it. And I've now run out of stuff to say. I'm sorry I've ignored you all. I haven't really ignored you. I just cannot read and talk at the same time. I can text and talk on my phone, but I can't read and speak off the dome. Anyway, yeah, I guess that's it. Though completely random, take into account what you're letting in. I mean, I know I'm so guilty of it, but I realized how much little time I spend in my Bible because of all these different little things, whether it's one topic or something else. And I know that there are things that we are to be watchmen. I get that, but when I realized that I became such a watchman that it even affected my prayer time and my studying, and it's the serpent is the most subtle one in the garden. It's the most subtle one here, I assume. And he's moving slowly with different things. If you look at the way they've done the whole, yeah, and then now you got to have two, and then all that, and then they use statistics to show a 2 week period where, oh, it all went down, so they must work, and then everybody believed it. That's their belief now. It will stand. They'll fight you for it. Subtle, but most of us can see what's going on. Anyway, I love you all. That's good to see all of you. Thank you all for coming to visit. Um, yeah, that's it. All right. Love you guys. All right. Bye. God bless.